Hey guys, and welcome to the official 2023 office tour. I live in a small one-bedroom apartment with a tiny 8x7 feet den, meaning I really need to make good use of my space. It's a bit of a downgrade from last year's, but hey, we do what we can with today's housing economy, am I right? But to be honest, I actually find it kinda cozy. I have the PC in front of me there, charging station just off to my left, and my absurd amount of cards just behind me. I suppose you can say everything is within arm's reach, or even a chair slide away. I'm getting ahead of myself, so let's start again with here. The main workstation. If you see my previous office tours, then you'll know a lot of this is the same, so I won't bother too much with the details. Though, I will mention that I am still very much in love with my OG monitor. The BenQ on the other hand is, well, just alright. Honestly, I have been thinking about upgrading these monitors into one of those super ultra wide ones, but I'll save that purchase for a future Black Friday. If you've seen the last devlog of Caster's Trap, then you'll know exactly where this desk pad came from, and it is in honor of my first commercial game. You guys rock, but of course you already know that. Also, this little guy is still hanging around. I think the only two new things here are the ZenSlab Quick Keys and the Xiaomi Light Bar. The ZenSlab is a neat programmable keypad to bind combinations of key presses into one. For the most part, it gets the most use when I'm working in GIMP to make YouTube thumbnails, but hey, overall, I still find it kinda neat. Perhaps in the future, I'll make a video about all the different programs and accessories that I use to help make games. The light bar is, as you imagine, though the nice part is that the puck is wireless and the light bar can change in both brightness and color temperature. For the most part, I use it when I'm in an ambient lighting type of mood. So the nano leaves are off and it's just me, my screens, and the light bar. Usually the light from my case is off, but I'm leaving it on just for you guys. Last fun part about the workstation is of course the mirror off to the side. Always gotta check yourself out real quick before you hit record after all. So I mentioned the nano leaves, and let's talk about them quickly. Before, they were in the shape of two triangles, one small and one big one, but now, well, you tell me Ashley, what do you think it looks like? Most of the time, the color is set to cool and 69% brightness. Trust me, any brighter and it's a sheen of white light in all of my videos. Just below the nanoliths is my charging station, and I can't recommend having one enough. If you do any types of live recording, then you probably have a couple different cameras too. And definitely a couple different lights. Do yourself a favor and make a clean charging station. There's no clutter on the ground, no fuss as to whether something is plugged in or not, or even if you're using the correct wire. It really makes life much easier. Also, wireless mouse and keyboard, charge them overnight. And if you're worried about the electricity bill, to the left of all this and behind my seated position is my display case. I reorganized it a bit to fit my current fandom. Shout out to the homie for the Genshin gifts, which by the way, a lot of the items here is actually from friends or just one from round one. Definitely my favorite arcade brought into the States. This Vegito card, I actually pulled from a Newberry Commons with said Genshin homie after a weekend Christmas cabin trip. It's actually kind of funny because it was an impulse purchase and we didn't even plan to go shopping that day. That aside, it also acts as a nice homage to my DBS TCG days. The You're Awesome board that sat in the back of most of my videos in the old office space. Heading down into the top shelf, we have several One Piece figurines. Over the past year, my joy for One Piece exploded, and you'll see why very soon. Down a shelf and we got all things Evangelion. Weird anime, cool mechs, but very human characters. Giant Godzilla pop figurine from a white elephant swap between close friends. Definitely was not disappointed that year. A couple more Godzilla figurines cause the kaiju is a boss, of course. Sidestepping out into the crate nearby is my One Piece TCG collection. As you probably caught from the Vegito card earlier, I'm huge into TCGs. I play this competitively, and have since the launch of last year, during the Super Pre-Release, as they called it. In the summer I went to the Florida Regionals, which you can find in my IG stories, and plan to go to the finals come January. No clue what deck I'll run yet, but follow my Instagram if you're interested. Above this, and we have a couple of artworks. Let's start with this shadow box that I got at PAX East last year. Low-key, Zelda is a horror game. Think about the monsters, think about the bosses, and even some of the characters. Majora's Mask, 100% a horror game. One of these days, I'm gonna make a Majora's Mask inspired horror game and it will be awesome. Below is an anniversary gift from my girlfriend designed by an Etsy artist. To the left is this 1,000 piece Godzilla puzzle of all the classic movie posters up to Shin Godzilla. This is honestly the coolest puzzle ever, period. Next big art over is a Shin Godzilla poster by an Etsy artist that you've seen in the back of all my videos in the old office. Now we're crossing over to the other wall to find this Genshin and Ghost Pokemon Fusion that I also got at PAX East last year. I mentioned this in the last office tour too, but I had a spinning wheel to win the shiny version, and so happy that I won it, because there was no way you could purchase a shiny version. You had to spin the wheel. The PC I've had before, no parts have changed, so I'll just leave the PC parts picker link down below in the descriptions. These two are my out-of-office companions, the XPS, which I actually go to far more than the iPad. It's no powerful machine by any means, so no working on videos, but it's incredibly light and still a productivity monster. YouTube thumbnails on the go, Word documents, script writing, or pretty much all things online. This is my best travel buddy. Often in the winter, I like to get comfy under my kotatsu in the living room rather than working at this desk, so I still find ways to go back to this even at home. Not to mention, RPG Maker is not a really demanding engine, and I have used it in the past on different projects such as Whisper in the Woods. And fun fact, I did it during my trip to PAX East. Moving to what's in front of it is an iPad Air 2 that I got back in 2015 for a steal on Black Friday. Though it doesn't get much use nowadays besides being the occasional video player, but may see some work in the future if I decide to take up digital drawing. I think this stand speaks for itself well enough, but Zelda was my fandom growing up, and while most kids had their Xboxes, PlayStations, and GameCubes, I had my portable handhelds. I'll show it off a little bit more later on. This tray and its contents is probably the most unique on this side of the desk. Of course, doing the YouTube thing, I have items that I frequent too. There's several SD cards, USBs, but then we also have this newer portable light box. You may have noticed a subtle glow in some of my more recent videos. If you're a YouTuber who records live, I can't recommend this enough. I have the attachment on my camera, the phone mount, and a light box, but then the base of it on my face cam mount, my main tripod, and my handycam tripod. Now, check this out and see how it all comes together with the charging station. Finishing up this recording with, aw gee willikers, my camera battery's about to run out. Well, that's no big deal. Just gonna plop it out like that, turn this thing off, snap it out it comes. And with the new one, boom, bang, and we back in, baby. Okay, cringy commentary aside, all of that without the frustration and loss and flow of what I'm doing. I'm telling you guys, the quick release is definitely worth the investment. Now heading below the table, we'll start with the pull-out desk. Normally, this desk sat higher, but I had to cut it down a few inches to fit below my table, and it has been the best desk companion yet. Whatever cannot fit the desk space in front of me, it's definitely going here. This MIDI keyboard is a Nectar Impact LX25 Plus, and is way more than I need. I say this every year, but one day I'll use it to its max potential. Fingers crossed. Moving to the crates, and we have more TCG goodies. I also play MTG Commander format, but instead just casually with friends. Very recently though, Doctor Who released for said Commander format, and I am in love with the deck. Below it is more camera equipment goodies, so action cam straps, cables, usually things that see the light of day once or twice a year. To the right is a travel case for the XPS, and these are all the goodies that I keep hidden inside. But next to it is a cable bag and an electric air duster. But finally, the most fun crate of stuff has got to be this one. Modded GBA, 3DS, and PS Vita. The funny thing is that I have a PS5, an Xbone, and a Switch, but I tend to find myself reaching for one of these three the most. Alright guys, this pretty much covers the office tour for 2023. Let me know if you found anything interesting and if you wanted me to elaborate more on any of it. But other than that, catch you guys in the next one. Till then, later!